Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to USS Henry M Jackson Blues Change Command. It's a time-honored tradition, rich in ceremony, where Commander Alan Agor was relieved as the commanding officer by Commander Nick Roa. Today's guest speaker is Rear Admiral Lincoln Reifsteck. The presiding officer is the Submarine Squadron 17 Deputy for Training, Captain Larry Arbuckle. During the ceremony, salutes and honors will be rendered by the bosun and official party only. Uniformed guests should remain at attention, uncovered, and not salute during the arrival and departure honors to the official party and the national anthem. Bosun, hoist the side boys.
Both side boys, aye, sir. Side boys, attention. Cover. 2. Left and right, face. 1 step to the rear, march.
Jackson, attention. Guests, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem. USS Henry M Jackson Blue, arriving. Commander, United States Navy, arriving. Captain, United States Navy, arriving. Rear Admiral, United States Navy, arriving. Parade the colors.
Color guard, attention! Port colors! Forward, march!
Hand salute.
Color guard, halt! Port left, colors! Ready, cut! Left, face! Carry, colors! Ready, cut! Present, colors!
EMN 1 Stafford will now offer the invocation.
Good morning, Jackson family and friends. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Lord of heaven's armies, we thank you for bringing us here this morning and ask that you bless this ceremonial change of command. We pray for words of encouragement, love, and wisdom to echo from where we've been as a crew and emanate into this next chapter of our lives on the Henry M. Jackson. Amen.
Guests, please be seated. Jackson, seats. Bosun, retire the side boys.
There's side boys, aye, sir. Side boys, left to right, face. House cover. 2. Seats.
From U.S. Navy regulations, the responsibility for commanding officers for command is absolute. The authority of commanding officers is commensurate with their responsibility. While they may, at their discretion, when not contrary to law or regulation, delegate authority to subordinates for the execution of details such as delegation of authority, it shall in no way relieve the commanding officer of their continued responsibility for safety, well-being, and efficiency of their entire command. Commander Agor assumes command of Jackson Blue in May 2021 and will successfully complete his command tour today. Our guest speaker is Rear Admiral Lincoln Reifsteck. He graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1995 with a Bachelor of Science in Political Science. He also holds an MBA from the George Washington University. His command tours were at Submarine Development Squadron 5 and USS Hampton. He was the executive officer on USS Columbus, navigator on USS Charlotte, and division officer on board USS Alaska Blue. He is currently the program manager of the AUKUS Integration and Acquisitions Program. Please help me to welcome Rear Admiral Lincoln Reifsteck.
Do you hear me back there? Yeah, great. It's a little dead. It's a change of command, not a funeral. Come on. How's it going? It's an exciting day. 3 years and 3 days for Commander Agor. I remember sitting out there in front of the Group 9 building at that incoming change of command right when I was getting ready to leave Bangor myself. So for our dignitaries, for Karen and Erica, as the two most important members today, welcome. Commanders Agor and Rowe, Admiral Tilbrook, great submariner and friend. I think I saw Commodore Keith Floyd out there, and one of the greater bosses I've had, Brian Hung. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Our commanding officers, our family, shipmates, friends, thanks for coming today. There's a lot actually going on today. It's the summer solstice. Also, it's World Productivity Day, National Yard Game Day, American Eagle Day. It's Dump the Pump Day, Global Car Recycling Day, National Vanilla Milkshake and Ice Cream Soda Day. So if you've got this all married right, since people are at a great opportunity cost, you've got a good chance to see an eagle here when you come out, right? It's a prime place. Maybe a tug of war between A Gang and RC did while we all drink vanilla shakes.
Yes, sir. I think we can arrange that.
All right. Well, I'm just break. I'd like to acknowledge the color guard. The color guard, for me, it really makes me remember why we put the uniform on every day, while the folks on Jackson have to spend so much time away from their families, and why those of us that go to sea have to manage every meticulous detail, because that's what you're representing. That's what you're presenting. It's important. The band, thanks so much. Those that have been in command, we kind of don't joke, that having a band that changed the command is the mark of success. You survived, you thrived, and you made it to the other side. So there's a band here today, and it's great to have a band of my friends change the command today. And I got to tell you, when I hear the Navy band, wherever it is in the country, it kind of still makes me get a little bit of a goosebump or a little bit of a choke in my throat the way that it did back at the Naval Academy Chapel in 1991 when I started my journey in the Navy. So thanks so much. You guys are great. Really appreciate it. For me personally, it's great to be here. Bangor's a place where one day I'm going to say I'm from when I'm done with the Navy, so it's awesome to be here. It's where my first ship was. It's where my squadron staff tour was. And I got a lot of great friends just in my neighborhood right up the street, and a lot of Navy friends here over the years, so it's amazing to be here. It's an exciting place for reflection for me and to celebrate our deep family friends, the Agors, in this time. And so I want to summarize quickly before I get into a little bit more formalized, standard kind of Navy speech remarks. Alan and I, we've got a lot of reps together. And so when Alan was a JO in Chicago, I came on board as an XO student. And if you've never done submarine command course, it's really hard on the boat. It's a pain in the neck for the crew. And he very graciously informed me how I had no knowledge on the Patriot radar system, which was right, I didn't. He got me up to speed in a very short period of time, such that when I went on to my ship, who also had no knowledge on the Patriot radar, we were able to become very good at that because of that. He was very gracious in doing so, and we had a nice rapport together. And so I was really excited when I was going on to Hampton to be the CO to learn that Alan Agor is a West. And I think at first blush he was excited until I actually got there and we started interacting every day. I remained excited, maybe probably not so much. We had some awesome experiences. We deployed to the Westpac together, and there's some really funny stories on how you count warships, how the BMR works, all kinds of stuff. We went to the North Pole together, and that was pretty awesome. And that ship, just where it was in its cycle, we went to see a lot. And so the greatest thing out of that is that our wives really became lifelong friends, and our kids became lifelong friends and family together. And so we spent roughly 300 days in 1 year at sea, and they were the nucleus for each other, and they kept those families on Hampton. I'm eternally grateful for that. And it's one of the great things, one of the great relationships my career's brought me, so thank you. Alan, you're aggressive on the con, you're an aggressive standard bearer, you're a gracious loser on the cribbage board, and we've got a lot of reps together. So typically we focus on the outgoing CO. We have some niceties with the incoming CO because it's a big deal. But I also want to talk about what this entire crew has achieved in 3 years and 3 days. And so I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. And I also want to keep this brief. So my youngest son is the same age as Blake, they're buds, and he always falls asleep at my change of command, like always. And so that's like my canary in the coal mine, like, hey, it's time to get on with this. So I don't know, maybe Charlotte, you can give me like that, Victoria, because you know your dad been a really long time, so I'm going to try to get through this. So family members, a lot of important comes out of our families. Anybody's a submarine family, please, can you raise your hand? Yeah, thank you so much. For all of us in the Navy, but especially the submarines, with the lack of communications and just kind of the stresses that are in this life, it takes that whole village. It takes the family, it takes the sailors, it takes the families being families together, so I really appreciate it. And so to highlight Alan, Steve, and Karen, like I said, lifelong friends of ours, his parents, Mike and Gail, who are in from Orlando. Mike's a retired submarine commanding officer himself. Karen's parents, Scott, Mary Beth from upstate New York. I'm glad to see you again. It's been a few years. And of course, Blake Colton and Charlotte, who in 3 years you guys have certainly peaked out a little bit. So it's great to see you. And on Nick Roa's side, his wife Erica, they're high school sweethearts. If you're a Naval Academy people? I'm a Naval Academy guy. So we call this the 1% club. If you show up with a girlfriend in the Naval Academy and actually end up getting married, that's like the 1% club. If you actually end up staying married, that's like the 1/10 of 1% club. The 1/10 of 1% club. It's pretty awesome. Their kids, Gus and Edie, are here, as well as his parents, Rich and Claudia. Rich is a retired Marine. And his brother, he is like a clone. So I was talking to somebody in the Pentagon that I was coming out, they said, oh, Nick Roa is a great guy. He looks just like his brother, though, and we frequently would mistake him. Like, hey, what's Anthony doing here? And you're like, I'm not Anthony, I'm Nick. So, you look a lot alike. He's in here from Boston. He's at flank owner on the Missouri, Virginia class submarine. So great stuff. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, in defense circles, in DC, where I'm residing these days, international relations, we talk a lot about how the U.S., we're in great power competition. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, all these bad actors, the Houthis, violent extremists all over the place, right? Military capabilities are advancing from our adversaries at an alarming rate. There's microaggression against the U.S. through disinformation, through cyber, through any little way you can do it. And so we wonder, is this the kind of greatest challenge of our lifetime? It's certainly the greatest challenge in several decades from the Cold War, but it may be the highest stakes we've had. And because of that, it's the Navy. The Navy is the U.S.'s insurance policy. We're the away game. The submarine force is absolutely the reason that insurance policy is there and why it's credible. And so, we do the peacetime ops to make sure the wartime ops don't happen, and then if the wartime ops do happen, we know that we're going to win. And it's because of the Henry M. Jackson and other submarines like her that are doing it right. Nobody's been doing it better than Jackson. When you talk to folks on this waterfront, when you talk to the folks that actually run the nuclear mission, whether it's at SSP or on the joint staff, they know that Jackson's getting it done in the U.S.'s #1 DoD mission. Strategic deterrence is our #1 mission. It's the most important thing. It's the most important ships we build. It's the most important mission that we do 24/7, 365. So those accomplishments, folks, they didn't come easy, right? 3 years ago, you guys were a bunch of great sailors building a great team. You continue to build that. And so a few things that have happened. You modernized your ship. You rapidly improved it when you took it back to sea. You continue to succeed at sea. You fixed your own problems, and it's been very impressive. You've done about 310 days at sea together. You've had babies born, Navy Achievement Medals awarded. 92 of you got your submarine dolphins. 13 officers got their submarine dolphins. About 20 sailors qualified diving officer watch, and another 19 qualified engineering watch supervisor. 6 engineering department master chiefs, which is the pinnacle nuclear qualification in the U.S. Navy, and it's extremely impressive. Over 20 officers as engineering officer watch. 2 officers screening for XO, and 3 qualifying to command submarines. So that's impressive. It's an impressive legacy you guys as a crew are leaving, and you should all be very proud of that. And I got to tell you, I credit each one of you, but one of the prime reasons is that your CEO demanded a lot of you, cared a lot about you. And when I read like Big Scoop and Little Scoop, your policies and kind of your approach to life, your philosophy, there's a lot of great stuff in there, not just on the boat and in life too. And so since you embraced those and you went after constant improvement, you're here as big victors today. And you just had a great patrol, and you deserve the accolades that the American people are quietly giving you, that they don't even know they're giving you because nobody really knows what you're doing. And I'd say that maybe one of the best testaments, like in a single piece, of all the hard work you did is that this waterfront's clamoring for your captain to stay on the waterfront and to show others the Jackson way. And that's not one guy, that's the entire team. So thanks for everything that you've been a part of in doing that. So Alan and Karen, you guys have done an amazing job. Whole career, you've worked with amazing jobs, fostering families, shepherding the next generation of leaders. I know, Alan, that the crew values their time with you from the many quirks that you showed them, and the list goes something like showed up to meet the crew at a flag football game like in full face paint and backwards hat, having a separate pair of shoes and hat for each little special event, which that would make me laugh and then kind of make me encouraged to see what was next. What are some of the other ones? I guess you've rectified the Hampton cribbage performances and apparently are a terror on the cribbage board these days. And much like myself, very funnily consumed, I think the estimate was 20 gallons of Coke during the stressful times of patrol, which that's probably pretty fun to watch. Unless you're CS kids, we probably didn't appreciate that. And I'm very happy to call you a shipmate. I'm very proud of what you accomplished, and I think the Navy's very lucky that they'll be calling you captain very soon, and not captain of the ship, but captain of the rank, which we mean I am. Thanks for all that you've been doing. Congratulations to you and Karen, to the family, for magnificent, really magnificent amount of sacrifice and accomplishments that you've given the Navy. So Nick, you're coming to a great ship, great reputation. You're the right guy for it, the right captain for this crew. You've got a great reputation on this waterfront. You know the waterfront, you know the platform, you know the people. You've got a killer reputation. I think some of it's your brother's, some of it's yours, but you get all the credit. And you've got a great reputation, so I was really ecstatic to hear that you're coming in. And so this ship's a 39-year-old American classic. 39-year-old classic. And it's only going to keep going to sea because you're going to care, because these folks are going to care, because these families are going to care. And it's still got a lot of life left in it, a lot of great stuff left in it, and I'm really looking forward to what you're going to get done there and how this crew is going to continue to flourish. So let me wrap up with a thank you to the Jackson family and the families. You answered our country's demanding call. You've executed the mission flawlessly. My sincerest appreciation as an American, as a submariner, as a naval officer, for the sacrifices, for the accomplishments that you and your crew, Alan, have brought to us. And I'll tell you, you submarine guys and gals, maybe not in your crew, but other places, you constantly show us what's still in the realm of possible. When people talk about generational problems or America's in decline, you look at this group of folks and you know that's all junk, and we're in great shape. So Nick, I can't wait to hear about your exploits and the ship's great exploits in the future. And I really thank everybody for being here today. And I hope you were timing. My wife times change of command speeches, like she's like a protocol, you know, on how long you're allowed. So I'm gonna have to report back. I thought it would be rude to have my cell phone up here myself. So I gotta get the time on that. You'll certainly be time bound, and me too, Nick. You don't get a lot of time. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here today.
Captain Arbuckle will now present Commander Agor with his editorial award. Jackson, attention. Will the guests please rise? Attention to award. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal, Gold Star in lieu of the second award to Commander Alan Agor for her service as set forth in the following. For outstanding meritorious service as commanding officer on USS Henry M. Jackson. Demonstrating exceptional leadership, he enhanced the crew's performance across the entire range of the strategic mission areas and core competencies. His relentless dedication to the welfare of his sailors was apparent through Jackson's command culture, recognized across the waterfront as the standard for achieving operational excellence by focusing on sailor fulfillment. His crew continuously overachieved, finishing 3 refit periods on or ahead of schedule, as well as covering additional days at sea during patrols. He forged his crew into a team trained and ready to flex the operational commander's requirement, conducting midshipman operations, covering a high volume alert coverage, and surging to sea at the peak of global tensions. Demonstrating his spirit for innovation and unwavering drive to succeed, he established aggressive at-sea repair practices while conducting the first ever depot-level repairs to vital ship's equipment during the patrol to enable the ship to remain on station and complete all strategic tasking. Commander Agor's professionalism, perseverance, and loyal dedication to duty reflected great credit on him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, signed M.D. Benning, Rear Admiral, United States Navy. Guests, please be seated. Jackson, seats. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Alan Agor, Commanding Officer, USS Henry M. Jackson.
I knew this was going to be hard. Let me get prepared. First, tissues. Man loves that I can't leave there. Let's look at the picture. And then we talked about that Diet Coke, so I got my Diet Coke here. So hopefully I'll be able to get through this rapidly due to being timed and also with minimal tears. First, I want to thank you all for being here today. Welcome Admiral Tilbrook, Captain Arbuckle, thanks for being here. Fellow commanding officers, family, friends, including Navy League and the crew of Henry M. Jackson Blue. I would like to especially thank two of my former commanding officers, Captain Joe Turk and Admiral Lincoln Rivestead. Without your mentorship and guidance, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you for your friendship, your mentorship, and the support. It means the world to me. Thank you, guys. Admiral Rivestead, thank you for agreeing to be my guest speaker and the kind words. You and Lara have been family since San Diego. And I want to thank you for all that we've been through together. I just want to thank you for, well, actually, it's overcome by events. So I was going to thank you for not timing, but now you have Karen timing, so I guess we'll skip that one. He did hold up his iPhone during my incoming speech and told me that 90 second that I was across, but it wasn't the first, but I continued to let him down with that one as I pushed through. Sorry. I want to thank the South Kitsap High School Color Guard. Can we get a round of applause for these future military leaders are on summer break, but agreed to come here and represent our country, so thanks again to them. Before I discuss key points, I want to give a quick history lesson. Because the first question I usually get is, why are you not a state? Everyone else is a state. It's kind of weird. So let's talk about who Senator Scoop Jackson is. For those that don't know, Armed Forces ranks get approved by the United States Congress if you get voted in. So young congressman, not senator yet, he will eventually become a senator, so I'm not misspeaking there. Jackson met this captain, short guy, obnoxious, Navy didn't really like him. He said, hey, I like this guy, I think he's going to help us win the Cold War. Navy was just waiting for him to retire, moving on. He said, hey, okay, I can't force you to promote this captain. However, I can tell you that every year from now on, you're going to have to explain how each 1-star is better than this captain. All right, Navy decided that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze on that one, and promoted this captain to admiral the next year. So Captain Rickover became Admiral Rickover, and became the father of our nuclear navy that we have today. So without the a young congressman, we would not have the premier submarine force that we have today. So I'm honored and humbled to have shared his name for the last 3 years. This story leads me to the two themes of my speech. Life is about moments and people. You never would have imagined that an interaction with a random 06 and a young congressman would have shaped our Navy and world peace. Here's one lesson I want to pass on to you, Nick. I try not to give you too many lessons because no one wants to learn from their predecessor. And my current commanding officers. While you're in thick of your tour, it's hard to stop and but it's key to take a step back and think about the little moments you're having in your crew. I'm not saying it's easy. I realize these moments are fleeting, but you need to realize that these moments are fleeting. And you need to cherish them when you have them. Otherwise, you're going to be up here and realize as you're staring out, you didn't take enough time for those moments. Too often I found myself worrying about the next critique. And instead of taking the time to realize that we did an emergent BSP to get one of our shipmates off, when everybody told us that was impossible. We did the impossible. To prevent lifelong effects. Take time to enjoy your command picnics. Playing ultimate frisbee at command PT, or celebrating the submarine birthday. These moments with the HMJ family are going to last a lifetime for me. As are the ones where we battle casualties underway, or watching someone stand their first watch qualify, when they look around and realize that they're the grown-up. It's a major moment no matter what watch they're standing. There are times when people would look at me and we're about to do a parachute jump and I have a silly grin on my face because I realized I was actually in charge of a multi-billion-dollar submarine. And for lack of better words, I'm sure there's some cool words that Blake would try and explain to me. But I'm going to go with my vernacular from younger. It's just cool, guys. It's really cool driving a submarine, and sometimes it's hard to remember that. I'll never forget watching my shipmates receiving their dolphins, christened in 730 water. Re-enlistments, advancements, and cheering newly reported shipmates as they say they're proud to be a defender of freedom. The signatures on this flag right here in front of me, it's hard to see with the lights, I guarantee it's signed all over, are all the people who either got their dolphins or advanced during my command tour. I stole this from Captain Turk, that idea, but looking at all these signatures, we've done a lot, boys. We've done a lot. I also need to talk about somebody who wears a different outfit than the rest of us, but he's part of the family no less than anybody else. Without him, we would not be out there defending freedom. This person is Chico Degenberg. He's the best ship soup I've ever met. He's been our ship soup the entire time. Let me just give you one sea story, or I guess sort of a dry dock story. I don't know if it still works the same way. But we're undocking. This is our first of 3 dry docks that we did. And we realized that we didn't have a galley, so we had to feed the crew. Okay. This is before 103, so at this point we hadn't been at sea together as a crew in almost 12 months at that point, probably. 14. So our execution phase of operational planning, not the best. So when we realized we had a problem, we were getting into the pizzas. What we did in timeout is when the brow was being removed versus when Costco opened. It turns out they happened at the same time. So the pizzas come back, we're very excited, and they're sitting on the pier. and we're sitting in the middle of the dry dock as it's flooding up. Chico worked his magic as he's worked this entire time, and continues to do. We traded a couple pizzas to some riggers, and probably had one of the most expensive pizza deliveries as they created on topside. But we had our food. We were able to eat, feed the crew thanks to Chico. So thanks for being here, brother. It means the world. All right, we use the word family a lot on board. Family is not just the family inside, and Admiral Reichsbeck talked about this. Not just the family in there in the assorted uniforms that we see over there, but it's more than that. It's anyone who supports. For all the spouses, children, parents who have been part of this journey, give me your husbands, fathers, and sons to allow us to defend freedom. They're not words that will properly convey my appreciation for all that you have sacrificed. The anniversaries, the birthdays, the holidays, family trips that we've all missed, not lost on me. Planning. See, we're better now. Yes, sir. Thanks for doing the hardest job in the Navy and supporting us at home. We get to go out there and defend freedom, but the world doesn't stop. Sometimes we like to think it does, but we know it doesn't, so thank you for what you've sacrificed. Round of applause. I was extremely lucky to have two amazing ombudsmen. Both, and they're sitting next to each other, so it's great to be in friends. Kelly Hayes and Tiffany Thomas. Please accept these flowers as just a small token of my appreciation. The countless hours you supported HMJ family, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish our mission without you, sorry. And I appreciate the hours you've talked to us, either me or Cobb or family members. We knew that you were taking care of the families at home, so we could go out there and defend freedom. So thank you very much. We're also fortunate to have been adopted by the Kitsap Peninsula Navy League. I want to thank the members that are here today. They've selflessly dedicated their time and resources to bettering the lives of our families and crew. Thanks for being part of the HMJ family. I will always be fond of the memories of the desserts being carried around during 7:30 days to ensure that everybody had enough, and the donation of thirst quenching options during our last picnic. So I appreciate you, Navy League. I also want to thank our local friends. Admiral Reichsbeck talked about how it's home for him. It's definitely home for our family. We've been here for 7 years, but the Kitsap area is like none other that we've been stationed. The military families come here immediately and become are able and welcome this part of the community with open arms. Those friends that are here today, thanks. Appreciate you being here. You've really made this our home. I appreciate all the other Kitsap residents who welcome and support the rest of my crew and the local military. When I look back on this tour, while I'm proud to have supported the strategic deterrent mission, I know that I did this for the people on the deck place. Those that are over in those seats, and those that would have been in those seats but have moved on to other things. While we've had our struggles together, it is the fact that we are a family working together that allows us to succeed. I wish that I could talk about each and every one of the members of my crew, and I could. Anybody who's talked to me for long enough. But at some points I have to read my orders and allow Nick to take command. But I want to have a few examples of just the H&J family. First, I want to thank Petty Officer Stafford for doing the invocation and benediction today. Petty Officer Stafford was our lay leader for the majority of my tour. Going to religious services with him leading on Sunday allowed me to refocus weekly. He's a truly gifted spiritual leader, and I can't tell you how much it means that you're part of this today. He's also a leader on the deck blades out there. I qualified engineer my supervisor as an E5. And now he's led the way, and I think we have now nearly a dozen that have done as E5s after you. So I appreciate all that you've done bettering our crew and me because of what you've done. Thanks for helping us push the standards and spiritual and mental welfare of our crew. Some other people some people are just made for this job. Why unknowing? Appreciate even with the no shave chip, he shaved today, look rather dapper. He's an example of this. Before 103 showed up from shore duty and said, hey, I'm just going to finish my contract and I'm going to get out. And at some point we all have to grow up and get a real job and figure out what we want to wear for a living and go to. But anybody talks to Noe for about 5 minutes says, okay, I don't think so. So when we went our way, he was qualified sitting helms and plates. Came by qualified dive. His last mid-watch, he actually made sure he stood like helm, stern planes, shoot the watch, and dive all in the same watch and hit brakes. And now he's gone from a second class to my leading yeoman, my first class. Great leader. He's been to battle stations dive, and I expect in the not so distant future to hear great things about Chief Noe. So those are two examples of people who just showed up ready to hit the ground running. Not everybody's this way, and some of those we need to talk about. When I was a PCO, I was talking to a sailor, and he looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, I keep messing up, I want to do better, I don't know how. I told him, new captain, new fresh blank slate. Went and asked him questions afterwards about Fireman Townsend. There weren't very many positive comments I could find. But the cops just turned over, DA gang had just turned over. So Chief Victor, now Senior Chief Victor, we all said, hey, let's just give benefit of the doubt and try again. Please report that MMA2 Townsend, re-enlisted, left the boat as a Chief of the Watch qualified individual, out there on shore duty, doing great things. It was much lost, and it was a large loss when he left. One of our heaviest lifting QAIs and a key member of A-Gang. So I'm sure he's doing great things out in Groton, but he was missed. But it's just one of many stories of people that have just done great things, given the right opportunities. I wish I could continue with all the stories, but I would like to call out a couple of other junior sailors who qualified as senior watch stations. Both Petty Officers Lee and Boyd are in charge of developing or Boyd, I call you Boyd, so he's the fourth, so we call him Quad. Lee and Quad both draw our nav plans as E4s. They've qualified quartermaster as seamen. They're the ones who started when they were E3s. Means really junior for those that are trying to translate to civilian. Decided where we're putting our multi-billion-dollar submarine, and they've been doing a heck of a job. We have Petty Olson, qualified sonar supervisor as an E4. Until he did that, I'd seen that none times. Along with Seaman Botchett, qualified Chief of the Watch. So I could go on and on for all days, but I just want to call those guys out as the representatives of amazing sailors that I've had the opportunity. Everyone likes to say that they have the best chief's quarters, but I truly believe that everyone else is wrong, and I'm right. That my quarters is second to none. They're focused on developing leaders at all levels by leadership training, mentoring, positive feedback, and investing their own time by just using punishments has been amazing. They are the most receptive group of chiefs for suggestions from the sailors in the wardroom that I've ever seen. I want to thank you all for always allowing me to be welcomed in the quarters and allowing me to come down there and have a Diet Coke and chat and refocus. This really embodies the drive, and everyone there wants to be the chief versus just a chief. So I want to thank you for holding each other accountable, pushing to show the crew that even when you're wearing anchors, you still have to drive every day to make sure you're better. They have extreme peer-to-peer accountability, and they are sure we all hold the standard. Chief Tristan Scott, our CSC, is the only one who's giving me a checkup. So in order to, on Saturdays, I like to flip burgers for the crew. In order to do that, I have to be a qualified food service handler. So Chief Smith, Scott Smith. Chief Smith did a very rigorous checkout. Luckily, I had already qualified in Washington State to help out with Charlotte and Colton's theater. So food service handling, I knew what I was doing, but it was a very thorough checkout. Make sure I could do that and be able to get back to the crew, but also not make mistakes. I obviously can't leave the chief's quarters without talking about chief of the boat. I've had two cobs during my tour. Most recently, I have Senior Chief Sean Goodner, who rapidly learned how to be a bosun when the bosun didn't show up. So, great job, Jimmy. This is an excellent leader, adapting and overcoming, and leading from the front. Literally, you whistled perfectly. I would even think it was like almost recorded. How well it was. It's been great doing this patrol with you, and I think that you and Nick are going to do great things in the future. I think some people are just put on this planet to be part of your life. For one of those, sorry. For me, one of those people is Phil Davis, my first chief of the boat. Okay, Chief Davis and Lieutenant Commander Agor checked into Submarine Group 9 the same week for shore duty. Little did we know that we were going to be neighbors, where Karen and the kids get to know Phil, Bubba, Cooper, Maverick, and Ace once he was born. As friends and neighbors. As the only Senior Chief and Commander going on to Cobb and Commander respectively, we spent a lot of time talking about our command philosophies and leadership styles. Soon after I got my orders to be to come here to HMJ Blue, Senior took me. Now he's a Senior Chief, so now eventually we'll get to CMC. So there's a progression here. We're old for you young bucks. Senior took me into CMC Gabe Miller's office and pointed and he said, "Hey, sir, take a look at this. His name's penciled in to be Cobb on HMJ Blue." We both happened to be camping one weekend, as we started talking about that. And one weekend we're camping at Fort Flagler. Both of our families enjoy camping. Over some s'mores and by the campfire, we were talking about what we wanted, what our vision was. The word family kept coming up. And so we talked about what we can make. Brother, thanks for being here. But reflecting over the last few months, I think we far exceeded our thoughts of what family could mean here. There's no one I would have chosen to do the majority of the tour as a partner in everything, as Command Master Chief, Phil David. We are better people and leaders having served with you. Thank you for being here today, fully supporting our vision and helping keep me on track when I lost my way. And always having a Diet Coke, especially when I calmed down. I needed to calm down. I know I exploded a little bit more than I probably needed to when I heard the "Hey Cam, want to talk?" and I felt a cold Diet Coke being handed to me. So thanks for keeping me honest, brother. Yes, sir. It's been an honor to be part of this wardroom. When I look at how we've grown since 103, where every PD trip was a harrowing experience, causing gray hairs and receding hairline, Blake reminds me of. To Patrol 107, where we had 2 junior officers get direct hits with exercise torpedoes on submerged contact. The level of ownership the JOs on this boat leaves me at loss for words. Diversity of personalities and leadership styles in this wardroom proves that there is not just one mold. Whether it's the angle of Pod's hat identifying his level of stress, the quiet professionalism of Jay Carty, or the much discussed personality of Justin Denaro, they're all amazing leaders and ship drivers. I can't be more excited about the future when it's in the hands of such capable junior officers as those that I've been able to lead throughout this tour. I had 2 battle chops for my supply officers. Reagan Mathis has moved on, and Sam Anderson is now showing up, showing that they can fight the boat and also gets us parts, fight for parts and hardback. And they can also ensure that the brown food group's made for the boards to make sure many of our shipmates can have maybe a few less lookups than they'd have without a couple chicken wings and mott sticks for their submarine boards. So thank you. A majority of my tour, I was fortunate to have the same 3 department heads. Together, we took the green crew from Patrol 103, fighting force, culminating with winning the submarine Squadron 17 Strategic S this past year. Mike Lacey, our WEPS, has pushed his team to be the standard for strategic watch standing. That's where he is right now, because we're in the HW. He's created a culture that embodies all the Swiss pillars. Mike Quinlan, our Eng, has led the team through 3 refits, including 2 in the dry dock, and emergent battery replacement, and has excelled at this. Without his ownership, we would not be able to go out there and defend freedom. He's also empowered his team to make multiple major and extremely difficult repairs at sea, ensuring that Jackson could stay in the fight. Every successful commanding officer has a 3rd officer. So there's that's the one who's can sort of the department head who can help push that vision. For me, that was Ken Fletcher. They're the ones who ensure the command vision is realized. They can both lead, mentor, and train subordinates, but can also be the first one to tell the captain when we're going the wrong direction. Ken, you're amazing to have, amazing 3rd officer. From day 1, he hit the ground running. He certified our navigation team for Patrol 103 while he was still at PNAV, but before he actually checked into the command. And always made sure we were able to navigate the right way. Ken, I want to thank you for the many days and nights where you ensured both the team and I were on the same and correct path. I know you'll do great things mentoring the squadron as the squadron operations officer. I don't know how to say how much you meant to me throughout this tour. I've had 3 great exos. Joe S'more, Jeff Fletcher, and most recently Tony Giamma. Tony, I wasn't sure what to make you when you first showed up. You're sort of like a Boston Terrier who sips 5-hour energy drinks, which sip 5-hour energy is kind of weird. But he does, it's got it right there. But as we kind of know each other, I know that we would not have been successful this past patrol without you. Your drive cannot be stopped no matter what NAV tries. My only regret is that we didn't have more time together. I know that you, Nick, and Cobb are going to lead this team to great things. Next, I want to thank my actual family. We talked about that family. Come back to this one. I want to thank Karen's parents, Scott and Mary Beth. Thanks for being here and supporting our Navy life. Thanks for letting a midshipman take your daughter out all those many years ago and supporting that decision, which I know is somebody close to Annapolis, not necessarily a popular idea. So thank you for that. Mom, Dad, thanks for being here. You've supported me through my entire life. I would not be here without you. Dad, thanks for being a role model. What a leader, a father, a submariner. What a submariner should be. All those years ago when Admiral Bowman looked at me and said, well, shipment Agor, how'd the apple fall so far from the tree? Your dad was much better than him, you are. And he challenged me to be at least half the submariner that you were. Hopefully I've done at least that. Thanks for always being a sounding board and sage guidance. Okay, well I've made it pretty far, but now the hardest part. Kids, no offense, this is going to be short because I can only get so far without crying through this. All right, so my kids, I cannot be more proud of each and every one of you. You're all amazing in different ways. You're also strong, independent, and successful. Your strengths help me get through this tour. I was sad before this last patrol, sort of thinking about things I was going to miss. And Charlotte, at the time she was 8, turned to me and said, Dad, it's going to be like a little over 2 months. We've done 6 before. Like, it'll be okay. All right, nothing like being put in your place by an 8-year-old. But your strength and understanding helped get me through that, so I appreciate you, Charlotte. Colton, your ability to embrace who you are and your self-confidence is second to none. You own it, everything there. I've thought about this at different times, and I've tried to emulate you, and made sure that I was doing what was right for the sailors, no matter what the opinions were at the time, because that's what we needed. So thank you for that. Blake, I always knew that you were going to make sure everything was good at home. You've always been much more mature and responsible than you should have been for your age. Thanks for coming underway last patrol with me. That meant the world Karen, without you, I wouldn't be here today. You're my rock. You support me through the highs and the lows. You're the most amazing co-pilot for this life that I could have ever dreamed of. I love you so much. Okay. Nick, good luck. I know you'll do an amazing job. I can't think of anybody I would have entrusted this family to more than you. I hope that you and Erica have as amazing a time being part of this H&J family as Karen and I did. This is truly a special time. As I said, enjoy the little things. You'll be up here saying goodbye before you know it. Lastly, to my HMJ family, thank you for letting me be your leader. Thank you for being the best crew in the waterfront and coming together as a family. I am now, and will always be, proud to be a Foot Freak. I will now read my orders.
Jackson, attention.
From Chief of Naval Personnel to Commander Alan Michael Agor. Subject, Buber's Order Number 0730. When directed, detach from USS Henry M. Jackson, SSBN 730 Blue, and report to Submarine Squadron 19.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Nick Roa, Prospective Commanding Officer, USS Henry M. Jackson Blue.
I will now read my orders. From Chief of Naval Personnel to Commander Nicholas Andrew Roa, subject Buber's Order Number 0724. When directed, relieve as Commanding Officer, USS Henry M. Jackson Blue.
Ready to be relieved? I stand relieved. Report having been relieved of command as commanding officer of USS Henry M. Jackson.
Very well.
Sorry, report relieved as Commanding Officer of USS Henry M. Jackson Blue.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Nick Roa.
Good morning, Admiral Reisek, Admiral Tilbrook, Captain Arbuckle, Commodores, former Commodores, fellow COs, former COs, shipmates, gym friends, family friends, and crew of HMJ. Thanks all of you for being here on a busy, taking times out of your busy weeks to be here on a Thursday morning. It means a lot to me. Thanks to the band, thanks to the color guard for making this a fantastic ceremony. I'm filled with gratitude and humility at the awesome privilege I've been given today. This is by far the greatest honor of my naval career. Let's see, to the former COs, former chiefs, former shipmates that I've had, Ohio Gold, Joint Staff, Squadron 19, Michigan, Ohio Blue, MTS 626 San Fran, and back to the Naval Academy. I could not have been here today without your friendship and your mentorship. Alan, I want to personally thank you for putting such a fantastic crew together. The sense of family here is unparalleled. I'm inheriting something truly special. Thank you. Thanks to Richard and Claudia, my mom and dad. I wouldn't be the person I am without you today. Thanks. To my brother Anthony, thanks for coming out for Boston, and congrats for picking up 05. Message just came out on Monday. So. Gus, Evie, thank you for your relentless training in stuffed animals and bedtime stories. Baseball, football stats, video games. You've made me the person I am today. I love you guys. Erica, I am still trying to figure out where the time went. This feels like we're still showing up to the San Fran, not really sure what's going on. There's no one else I do this with. I love you, thanks. To the crew of the Jackson, thanks for a terrific ride back from San Diego. I really appreciate that. Most experienced crew I've ever been assigned to, and we're going to do some great things together. I'll leave you with just a few thoughts. It's a quote Vince Lombardi I picked up reading the tech manual that Naval Reactors put out on character development. There's a lot to unpack there. I don't have time to do that today, but we can talk about it later. The quote is this: the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence. regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. We'll be handed challenges. There'll be hurdles, there'll be problems we'll encounter, obstacles, none of that will matter. And why is that? Because our commitment will be greater than the challenge. I'm proud to be a leader of this crew, excited to continue our cause. Our cause is pretty simple, but it's a profoundly important one. It's the same cause that crews of the Jackson have been doing for 40 years now. And it's the same cause I take up now proudly, defending freedom.
All to you.
Jackson, attention. Would guests please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the departure of the official party and their families. EMN 1 staffers will now give the benediction.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Father in heaven, you taught us to be the salt of the earth, regardless of how difficult the circumstances. You guided our hearts and our hands through perilous seas and casualties. You made us to be a light on the hill, piercing through the darkest of times. And you glued this crew together, making a family out of us misfits and ne'er-do-wells. We thank you for carrying us through and ask that you bless this crew with fair winds and following seas. Amen.
Ocean, post the side boys.
Both sideways, aye, sir. Sideways, attention. Cover. 2. Left to right, face.
Rear Admiral, United States Navy, departing. Captain, United States Navy, departing. Commander, United States Navy, departing. USS Henry M. Jackson Blue, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. You are invited to a reception in the museum lobby. Thank you for attending.